My name is Darren Benike. I'm from Castle, South Dakota. I work at Esteline Community Oil Co-op in Esteline, South Dakota. I'm the general manager there. It's a little bit of a weird story. It's funny in the end, but it wasn't so funny at the time. But I took a fishing trip. So we went out to the Missouri River to a casca, and we fished for a couple days. And then I thought, you know, I got a little bit of a cold, and I got some Tylenol cold and flu, and took that. And I thought, yeah, nothing big. And the whole time in my mind, you know, COVID's been around, so I was thinking, you know, COVID, you know, we got to be careful. So I could still smell and I could still taste, and I kept eating things and smelling things to make sure. I know this is going to sound a little odd, but that's what I did. And I'm like, yeah, can't have COVID. It must just be a cold. Monday afternoon, I kind of started feeling a little bad again, so I took some more Tylenol cold and flu. And on Tuesday, I thought, you know, this just didn't seem right. So I didn't go fishing, and the other guys did. So I stayed back. I slept quite a bit, and then I woke up, and it felt like I maybe had a fever, and I kind of broke it. And I thought, okay, well, we're good now. And then Wednesday didn't seem quite right when I woke up, so we waited a little bit, and then I thought, yeah, I feel all right. So we went fishing again. We were on the Missouri River fishing in the cold. Wednesday night, I started coughing quite a bit, and Thursday, I didn't feel good again, so I stayed back. And then Friday, I just took it easy. And on Friday night, I didn't feel very good, and I had noticeable shortness of breath. And on Saturday morning, I was taking a shower, and it was kind of that damp, warm air, and I started getting a little bit lightheaded, and I thought, well, this isn't quite right. And so I thought, well, all right. So I went back in my room, and I sat down, I got ready, get dressed and stuff, and by the time I got dressed, I had to kind of stop, and I thought, boy, I am really short of air now. And so I went out and I sat in the chair for a while, and we watched a little bit of a movie, and when I got up, I stood up, and I was instantly lightheaded. I said, that something's not right here. And again, I could still taste the smell, so I thought, well, it's probably not COVID. So we decided we were gonna leave, so we went to pack up, and I packed my stuff up, and I had 2 bags, and one was light, one was heavy. I took the light one, walked out to the pickup, and I just about fell down. I was so weak. And by the time we got back home to my pickup, the things I distinctly remember is I went to load a little bit out of that pickup into mine because it was at a friend's house, and I was gonna drive home. And when I went to load just a little bit in, once again, I was like, wow, I'm really lightheaded. So I got in, and I started my pickup, and we had a little bit of snow. I got out, I scraped that off the windshield wiper, and I couldn't hardly get back in the pickup after that. So I waited, I kind of breathed, and I got my breath a little bit, and so I wasn't so dizzy or lightheaded, and I got in the pickup. And the place I parked at, my friend, his wife is a nurse, and she came out. She goes, you need to get somewhere quick. And I said, well, I know I was gonna go check myself in Watertown. And she goes, would you mind if I check you real quick here? I said, nah, that'd be fine. So I said, I gotta let the pickup warm up anyways. So she goes in and grabs a, whatever you call it, stethoscope, and comes out, and she grabbed my phone, and I set it on a timer, and whatever she did, she looks at me, she said, you are not driving. She goes, you're in very bad shape. Your oxygen is really low. And you know, to me at the time, I'd never done this before, so I had no idea. I'm like, oh, okay, it's low. Yeah, I know I can't breathe real good. I wasn't piecing together the oxygen part. I can now, because I've been through it, but then I didn't. They drove me down, took me to the ER here, and then they put the gown and all that stuff, and all of a sudden they started plugging things in. That's kind of where I started to kind of come to a little bit like, oh, this might be a little bit serious. It wasn't too long after that Dr. Vossler came back in and explained, yeah, you have COVID, you're positive. And you know, my whole life I've been, for quite a while anyways, last 20 some years, I've been friends with Dr. Vossler, and he's been very direct. You know, he's a doctor, so we kind of have a little banter going back and forth, like, I don't need doctors. You guys always just tell us the bad stuff, you know. And, you know, even there was still a little bit in my mind going, you know, is he really just making it worse than it is, or is he telling me the truth this time? And he actually was starting to tear up a little bit and stuff, and he told it like it was, and it wasn't good. You were in bad shape. You need to pay attention to what's going on here, because this isn't a good situation. So I was very stubborn. Yeah, my wife reminds me of that quite a bit. She said stubborn to the point where you were gonna not be around anymore. So yeah, they said it wouldn't have been too long, an hour or two more, and things would have been really ugly for me. They wanted to be around to make sure that if I was getting in and out of bed, and, you know, it's still at that point, I'm like, I'm a grown man, I can take care of myself. And some of that started to get me a little bit. And like I said, I got a little irritated, and I didn't even realize throughout this whole thing I didn't even have an appetite anymore. I wasn't eating, you know, very little, if anything. the nurses kept coming in and checking on me. Well, you need to do this and you need to do that. And some of the stuff in that first week, I'm like, I don't need to roll over again. Really? I got to do that and I got to turn. And, things got a little foggy at times. And, from when I remember to when I remember, I didn't think I was that bad. But there were some times I think I was a little bit ornery with them. Again, they were always positive, always inspirational is the word I used when I wrote it down. I'm like, you know what? This is cool that those folks, because they take a beating mentally, physically, and I didn't appreciate them at that time, that's for sure. And they didn't care. They just kept going. I would absolutely get the vaccine. There's no question about it. I'm working with the doctors. I still had the antibodies last time I was tested yesterday, but there's also different strains of it. Maybe I'm not immune to all of them, so when I can get it, I'll get it. And, I don't need to jump in line or anything. I'll wait my turn because there's plenty of other people, and it doesn't matter if you've had it or not had it. If you can get it again and you can go through the stuff I did, then get the shot, get the vaccine, go through it.
Are you one of Brookings Health System's grateful patients who would like to give back to us? Learn more about how you can give back at brookingshealth.org/mythanks.